Yeah. Currently I have myself. I'm from RightShip product manager, and I come from a sailing and architect background. Now into digital products.
So Son Ross here from Seapeak. I'm their ESG manager here in Vancouver, Canada, and it's 1 a.m. in the morning. And Dragos, do you wanna?
Drago, I'm yes, I'm Dragos Popa. I'm a chief engineer on board of NG Tanker, and here it's 6 o'clock afternoon, somewhere in the Pacific between Australia and Japan.
Amazing. And
I guess you guys already won in terms of diverse locations.
I just wanted to highlight, it was very important that Dragos was part of this. A big thrust was that it was his idea, and people on board. We really wanted to emphasize their ideas because at the end of the day, they're living the real realities in the shipping and industry. What we're doing here over at CP. So really wanted to commend Dragos's efforts on doing on all the work.
Appreciate
Okay.
it, guys.
Man, do you want to share the screen?
We also have Sue and Kate in this group who are also presenting otherwise. But yeah, so please. And I think one member is missing, which is Nikita, my wife. She's taking care of my son, so I'll be presenting that. Okay,
so whenever you guys are ready.
I'll just.
Yep, good to go.
Yeah, let me know. Shall I start?
Yes.
So good day, everybody. We would have loved, as Sesson said, to have Dragos here and to go ahead with the opening pitch. Unfortunately, he's on board with a poor internet. However, that exactly highlights and broadly the problem statement that we as TeamBuddy are trying to solve. We are a strong team with diverse professional background, from an onboard chief engineer to an ESG manager, directors, product managers, and IT consultants. We present today a tool which will help the maritime businesses to shape their approaches towards new incomers into the maritime industry. It will also promote students and young officers' engagement with the industry. The problem that we as Seabuddy are trying to solve touches upon various parameters. There's a huge demand of officers at any level. This problem becomes more difficult when the talent pool shrinks to miss out on the female gender. And to highlight in this case, Dragos Onboard has people from 9 nationalities and 1 female officer. Other external factors, such as COVID and better opportunities in other industries, escalate these disparities, leading to less youngsters joining or many junior officers and crew dropping off the maritime career path. The solution that we are offering is an access to a diverse and inclusive mentorship and networking community. The first step in attracting talent in any industry is to bridge the knowledge gap that exists between the industry and the younger generation. The platform does it through a guided quiz with multiple outcomes. The quiz takes the participant through a structured path of an image-based insight offered in multiple languages. Depending on the outcome of the quiz, he or she will be presented with an approved mentor list based on various diversity parameters. All the mentors will be approved. Educational institutes can request a career session from the industry representatives. There could also be leadership training requests that can be raised through the platform. For the Gen Z and millennials, employee benefits and other factors related to job satisfaction play a larger role other than pay. And therefore, for students and all, they would also need access and information at what funds and grants are available. And the participants or the promoters who are in this group, what is their ESG profile look like? Do they have any crew welfare assessments done or badges implemented? So they can see that what is the motivation behind the promoters who are joining in.
Thanks, Man. As part of the workshop and hackathon that we've just been through, we kind of were workshopping and refining some ideas. 2 that came to that were prominent were the first one was this idea of matchmaking. We live in a world of online dating, and so we figured we could try to apply that to the maritime industry and a mentorship program. So this would make a platform and software engine very relatable to most people, to be able to, based on the quiz and the preferences that it sets, it would match you up with specific people, whether onshore or offshore, that could offer career guidance in different areas of expertise. If, for example, Dragos, as a chief engineer, if he wanted to pivot his career path to coming onshore or a different part of a vessel crew, he'd be matched up. He'd have options to, swipe right or swipe left to have that discussion. And this is really important for, people who, females who may have a better interaction with someone who is like-minded and has a similar experience, or someone who has less English training skills and wants to speak to someone in their own language. So that's one of the workshopping ideas that we've gone through. And the next one is we actually had a great conversation with another group in this competition that focused on an exchange of ideas. And we think that while they're different ideas, maybe potentially if the dragons believe it to be a good idea, we could collaborate with them, basically using the matching engine. On one hand, doing the mentorship and mentee program with reverse mentorship going both ways, but also matching employees with relevant skills in different non-competing industries with projects that need assistance. So this is something that we would be very interested in collaborating. And of course, the whole point of this conversation is diversity, equity, and inclusion. And we think that this would create a safe, inclusive, and much more diverse space for work, and an information hub that I think would be very successful. Artuman.
So as the project,
that's time up, guys. But we'll give you one more slide, okay?
Okay. So the project will progress through various phases, and it will have certainly a critical mass to run through before a notification is sent out to the onboard crew, who can share it with anybody. The final phase will involve how to keep the platform live and active, and therefore it will involve a way to promote a mentee becoming a mentor. The team that we have here is Dragos, who is the chief engineer, Sasson, an ESG manager, Kate and Sue, who come from a director level position with deep insight into the in research on the requirements of the industry and women in general, how they can be promoted, and myself as a product manager and my wife Nikita Singh as a consultant. So you see, we come from a diverse background and believe in creating a more connected and diverse mentoring maritime community through our platform of Seabuddy. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, guys. So, judges, who wants to go first?
I can go first. You mentioned on one of the slides there was a critical mass of 5 participating companies, but on the kind of matching side, in terms of number, how many would you need to get on board, and what would your approach to get people on board the platform?
Yeah, so the first phase, as I said, is a critical mass, because we need some promoters or the companies to come in. And once that has happened is where the notification or the platform notification may go out as a link to the website or an app link to the onboard crew through your internal systems that this is a certain initiative and this is a link. Why don't you try? So yes, the first thing is that, and it will also be sent out to education institutions who are out there, that this is something which is one point where you could find various items that were listed earlier in the presentation.
And if I can jump in also, I think, on this point of reaching a critical mass of participating organizations, we would want to have a diverse set of mentors at all levels, at the C-suite, at the managerial level, at the director level, onshore, offshore, a completely diverse set of mentors that would be able to, that mentees could access. And the more the merrier at the very least, but we figured 5 would be an appropriate number to begin with. But of course, we want to scale that up as quickly and fast as possible to create that network of mentors and mentees.
Peter?
Yeah, thanks guys. Great presentation. Appreciate it. Just a couple of quick questions. Are you planning to have a mechanism within, I guess, the system to follow up? If the connection has happened, and do you monitor that after the match is made? And I guess secondly, you know, how do you vet, you know, how do you manage that? I guess, you know, in terms of those that put themselves up as mentors and the like, that, you know, they're the real deal.
I'll take the second one first, that how do we approve the mentors? It would come in through the participating organizations. We will not approve mentor coming in independently. So the mentors would have to come in through the participating organizations. So that is one. And I think, sorry, I missed out the earlier one. Could you please?
Just
Man,
the follow up,
mate.
How do you follow up on the match? Yeah.
Man, I can jump in on this one if that's okay.
Yeah,
I think you kind of almost do it like an Airbnb review system, basically, right? Where you would have that dialogue and connection, and you would be able to write reviews about how that went, and so there would be incentive to make sure that you were following up internally and not having to necessarily have that external source, because as a C-suite person or as a director level or on shore, it's important to make sure that you're being inclusive and engaging with the system if you want to be doing so. And so having that kind of internal review process where you guys are reviewing each other, I think would be very important.
Sean?
Yeah, thanks, guys. Just one question on the matching up process, because obviously that's going to be quite important. How do you intend to do that match up?
The matchup firstly would have to be initiated by the candidate, not the mentor. That is one step will happen. That the mentor will see only the candidates who have, kind of liked him. He will not be able to like the candidates by default. That's the initial plan. And once whoever candidates have liked that mentor, that's where it will go in. And to the candidates, as is on the screen, we are giving a list of mentors that will be there. But I'll take your attention one slide back, that we have a quiz in there. The quiz has multiple outcomes. So once he has taken the quiz, the platform will shortlist that which all career paths that has been the outcomes, and basis that, when the mentor profile will have those keywords. So he'll be presented with those mentors that match those possible outcomes that the candidate has taken through the quiz.
Okay, thanks.
Good question from my side. I mean, I do understand from the supply perspective of mentors that you would use the partners and then companies like the partners to drive availability of mentors. But what about the adoption side of things from a sailing community perspective? How do you ensure that there is profiling of the solution? How do you ensure there is initial adoption and you're scaling this?
So as I said, once we have the initial promoters in, our first step would be to pass on the notification on the link through those promoting organizations on their own crew. That's where it would be the first step. And together with that, we'll also engage organizations and professional bodies like classes and all who also need this talent. That if they want, they can circulate it. An important part is also that the link to this will the ones we have, the promoters, will be embedded, can be embedded into the website, which could direct the traffic to our platform.
The other thing I would want to also jump in on here is, while this is the right thing to do for companies, i.e. it's the altruistic thing to do, it's to create a diverse, equitable, and inclusive ecosystem, it's also the right business decision. At the end of the day, in the maritime industry, we are seeing dwindling numbers of employee retention and also new candidates coming into the industry. And we believe that this will decrease barriers to access, especially for people, again, who don't necessarily have English language skills that are their first language skills. So having someone that you could talk to in your language of preference to get into the industry might be helpful in terms of accessing the right resources, accessing the right networks. And so we think by participating in this, there's a true business case to be made here as to why they should do it. And it's not only the right thing to do, it's also the right business decision as well.
Okay.
One last one, just for wrapping up, and this is just purely on the business model side. Essentially, how are you going to get this funded?
Yeah. So if I take a focus on the top bar on the right side, there'll be two ways that we see one stream coming in. Is if there's the last part is request leadership training sessions. What that means is the maritime industry has a situation of triple disruption, you may say. There's a digitalization, decarbonization, and of course the shortage of manpower. So there are three disruptions that the industry is facing. So it does not mean that it's only the candidate side. It's also that the leaderships have to be trained to understand that the structure of the leadership has to change, as have been many discussions, again generalizing it. But yeah, so our intention is those professional bodies who look into leadership training sessions, that if they have to engage and if they have to conduct, they go through us, then they'll have to come in through a certain fee structure into our platform. And yeah, I think that's the one that I have for now.
The one other potential avenue we could pursue as well, especially for that critical mass initial partnerships that we would try to make, we would hopefully potentially look into what policies they have around corporate social responsibility, because I think this would fit in actually quite nicely with responsibility that corporations have to their employees. And they do. Every company should have a budget, somewhat of a budget, to be able to support this initiative through that stream.
And internally, sorry, please.
Yeah, I was going to say. I mean, I not wanting to completely destroy the timing of all of this. I wonder. So we've got some advisors for the program who've snuck on. So we should have welcomed you before: Sanjam, Heidi, Ying, and Suzanne. But I'm actually interested in maybe Heidi and Sanjam's thoughts about this, because I know both of you are involved in sort of network organizations, and whether you'd have any opinions about how this kind of idea might get off the ground. Because I mean, it does come up all the time, this kind of mentoring and this desire to connect individuals across organizations, and again, particularly from the DEI perspective, to show young cadets or women in positions, how they can progress, and to hear those stories of successful people and how they've overcome the barriers through their careers. So again, just not wanting to put you guys on the spot, but Sanjam, Heidi, if you've got any observations on this one.
Yeah, hi Richard, hi everybody. In terms of the bringing people on board for this, I think I think it's definitely an opportunity to do it. I think it's a great idea. Richard, in terms of your question, just to be specific, is the question how we do it or could we do it? Because if it's how, that's quite a long answer.
Because I mean, I think it's probably something that's been tried. That was, I guess, my point.
Oh, sorry, say that again.
I think it's something that's possibly been tried before, and what will be the challenges?
I think the challenges are the ones that we've already sort of highlighted, in terms of making sure we have the quality of the mentors, making sure that they're followed up and actually do the job. It's connecting as well, making sure we make the relevant connections, and that we're doing it at all levels. So what we want to ensure is that the mentors themselves are adequately equipped to be a mentor. Because there's certain things that they would need to commit to within a mentoring program to be effective. So I think part of this has to be equipping the mentors and making sure that they're equipped adequately to deliver what they're committing to with these people, because otherwise it would fall short. So that would be a crucial part of it, in my opinion.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Sanjam. I just wanted to say that the only issue I feel is that there are so many organizations and so many bodies that are trying this, probably on smaller scales and not exactly like this. So I think this is really great. It's a great solution if they can pull it off, put it together. The only thing is making sure that everybody stops working in silos with their own small solutions and making sure everybody uses this one particular app. I think that would be a challenge from my point of view, to make sure that the entire industry, everybody kind of stops working in silos and starts adopting this. Then I think this would be a great success.
Which is where
Excellent.
we need a critical mass of promoters to help us